I never planned to investigate that night. It started as just another quiet evening in my hometown, a small place where everyone knows your name, and the nights stretch long and empty. But when the call came through at 2:13 a.m., something in my gut told me this wasn't ordinary. The voice on the other end was shaky, barely a whisper. A young woman named Claire, panicked and breathless, calling from a remote area called Cedar Ridge. "You have to help me. Something's wrong here," she said, her voice cracking with fear before the line went dead. No address. No clue where exactly on Cedar Ridge she was. Just that terrified plea, lingering in the dead air. I tried calling back. Nothing. No answer. Just static. I grabbed my keys and jacket, heart pounding with a mix of dread and adrenaline. Cedar Ridge isn't far from town, but at night, it's like a different world. Thick woods, winding dirt roads, no cell reception, and stories older than anyone cares to admit. Stories about people who vanished without a trace, swallowed by the forest like shadows. The air was crisp and cold when I drove out. The moon was a thin sliver, barely lighting the path ahead. I slowed as I neared the ridge, headlights barely cutting through the dense fog curling between the trees. The silence was heavy, broken only by the crunch of gravel under my tires. I stopped near an old clearing where a faded sign warned visitors to keep out, but no one listened, especially at night. I checked my phone again, no signal. Just like she said. I called her name into the thick night, voice low, barely above a whisper. No response. Then, just as I was about to turn back, I heard it. Faint footsteps crunching behind the bushes, soft but deliberate. I froze. The hairs on my neck prickled. Something was out there. Watching. Waiting. And that was only the beginning. The footsteps stopped abruptly, swallowed by the night. I strained my eyes, trying to pierce the darkness. The trees seemed to lean closer, their shadows twisting unnaturally in the fog. The cold settled deep into my bones. I whispered, "Claire? It's me. Where are you?" Silence. Then came a rustling sound, branches snapping, soft but urgent. I turned my flashlight on, its beams slicing through the mist, illuminating twisted roots and broken leaves. The beam caught something, a scrap of fabric caught on a low branch, torn and muddy. I tugged it loose. It was a piece of a jacket, the kind Claire might wear. My heart raced. I moved forward, deeper into the woods, the beam dancing nervously with each step. The air smelled damp, earthy, but there was an undercurrent, something metallic, like old blood or rust. The path vanished beneath my feet. I was following instinct now, the faint sound of movement guiding me through a maze of towering pines and creeping vines. A sudden snap behind me made me whip around, flashlight darting wildly. Nothing, just the shadows. Then a whisper. It was so faint, I almost doubted it. Soft syllables, like a name spoken from far away. "Claire." I called back, voice cracking. "I'm here. Stay calm." The forest swallowed my words. I remembered stories from the old-timers, people vanishing on Cedar Ridge without a trace. One family disappeared whole back in '82. Others, just hikers who never made it back. No bodies, no clues. Only silence. I was starting to feel why. I stumbled upon an old cabin, its windows boarded and paint peeling. A crooked sign hung on the door, barely readable. Property of Cedar Ridge Lumber Company. I hesitated, then pushed it open. The smell hit me immediately. Mold, decay, and something else. Something rotten. Inside, the air was thick and cold. Dust motes floated in the beam of my flashlight. The floor creaked under my boots. The cabin had been abandoned for years, but signs of recent disturbance were everywhere. A broken chair, footprints in the dirt near the fireplace. On the table, I found a cell phone. Dead battery. Beside it, a crumpled note, barely legible in the dim light. "Don't trust the forest. It watches. It waits." The hairs on my arms stood up. Then, a sudden creak above me. The ceiling groaned, as if something heavy moved upstairs. I climbed cautiously. At the top, I found an attic window partially open, the cool night breeze stirring the thin curtains. On the floor, more scraps of fabric, a worn photo of a woman. Claire, I was sure, and a small journal. I opened it. The entries were frantic, written in a shaky hand. I see them now. They're not just shadows. They watch me through the trees, waiting. Last night, I heard voices, whispered promises. I'm losing track of time. I don't know if I'll make it out. My pulse hammered. Suddenly, a loud thud below. Something heavy, moving. I froze. I ran outside, heart racing, only to find the forest had changed. The fog was thicker, swirling like smoke. The trees seemed to close in tighter, the air oppressive. Then the whispers came, clearer, voices weaving between the branches, calling, pleading, warning. I tried to find my way back to the car, but the path had vanished. Every direction looked the same, endless trunks and shadows. And then I saw it. Footprints, muddy and fresh, leading away from the cabin, deeper into the darkness. I followed, compelled and terrified. The footsteps stopped at the edge of a clearing. In the center, half buried in dirt and leaves, was a rusted box. I opened it. Inside were old photographs, grainy, black and white, of people I recognized from missing persons posters over the years. Names scratched out. And underneath, a folded piece of paper with a map, a twisted network of paths and symbols I couldn't decipher. Suddenly, a chilling breeze swept through the clearing. A low, guttural growl echoed from the woods. I wasn't alone. I fumbled for my phone, no signal. I pulled out a portable radio and turned the dial, hoping for a weather report or police channel. Static. Then, a faint voice. Garbled, but unmistakable. Help. Trapped. Can't get out. It was Claire's voice. The signal faded in and out, the voice slipping away like a ghost. Then the voice was replaced by a soft melody, something familiar, like a lullaby sung by a child. The forest hummed with it. I stumbled back, terrified. I don't know how long I wandered before I found the road again. But the memories of Cedar Ridge stayed with me. The whispers, the shadows, the feeling of being watched. Claire was never found. Days later, I found the journal online, posted anonymously on a forum for the missing. It had more pages, entries that weren't in the cabin, written in a mix of despair and madness. One final note stood out. They're in the trees. They never leave. And now, I am one of them. And beneath it, a chilling message. If you hear the whispers, don't answer. Sometimes, at night, I swear I still hear those whispers in my own room. Cedar Ridge is still out there, waiting, watching, and maybe, just maybe, it's waiting for you too. Like and subscribe to channel to watch stories inspired by real life.